Luigi's Mansion, in my opinion, is one of the greatest games of all time, which is why in this video I'm going to be telling you why that is. What exactly makes this game so great? Well, let's sit back, relax, and get on with the video. Now I know what you're thinking, story in a Mario game, really? And well, yes, it is basically the same as usual, just replace Peach with Mario and Bowser with King Boo. But to me at least, Luigi's Mansion did try to be different. The game starts off with Luigi winning a contest he didn't even enter, with the prize being a mansion, in which Mario was to meet Luigi there. However, once Luigi gets to the mansion, Mario is nowhere to be found. A few shenanigans later, and Luigi finds himself up against a ghost, but accompanied by Professor Egad, who, takes Luigi back to his lab, where he informs him that the mansion is indeed haunted and appeared out of nowhere. With all his portrait ghosts roaming the mansion, an hour or so later of gameplay, and you arrive at the storage room, where you accidentally let out 50 Boos or so and King Boo himself, revealing that they were the ones who caused all this mess. Later you end up down a well, where you can look into the altar, and we see that Mario is actually being captured by King Boo and slapped into a painting. From this point on, it's your job to capture the rest of the portrait ghosts, the rest of the Boos, find Mario's missing items, and get to the altar and defeat King Boo and save Mario. Overall, I like the story. It puts a unique twist on the old Mario formula and does it quite well in my opinion. And come to think of it, a lot of the 3D Mario games after Luigi's Mansion kept doing the whole unique spin on the Peach getting kidnapped story. If you think about, there's Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Mario 3D World and Mario 3D Land, Mario Odyssey, and probably a few more as well. They all have a story around someone getting kidnapped, yes, but it puts a unique spin on it to differentiate them, and I like that. Anyways, back to Luigi's Mansion. Now, notice how I also said the lore. And yeah, that's because Luigi's Mansion actually does a decent job at creating lore around the mansion and fleshing out, the different types of ghosts you encounter and whatnot, Once you capture a portrait ghost, they'll get added to your Pokédex, the Game Boy Horror, and you get little bios for them too. And yeah, not all of them are very interesting, honestly. Probably half of them, to be fair. But there are some interesting ones, and downright creepy ones as well, like the ghost child Soupy, was not only known for wetting the bed, but she also apparently died in her sleep. It literally just says that in the game. So it's things like that that help make the overall experience that much more rich, I guess you could say. Anyway, let's move on to the next section, which is going to be the gameplay. Now, the gameplay in Luigi's Mansion, in my opinion, is actually really fun, to be fair. In a nutshell, to catch ghosts, you need your flashlight, you point it at the ghost, which stuns them, revealing their heart. Then you proceed to suck them up, holding down the R trigger and pulling the control stick in the opposite direction until their health reaches 0. I know it may not sound like the most gripping thing ever, but it never gets old for me, and therefore I don't mind doing it over and over again. Other things you can do include checking furniture and whatnot for money and stuff, scanning things with the Game Boy Horror, shooting out fire, water and ice, and so on and so forth. Overall, the gameplay is really solid and quite addictive. Now, Luigi's Mansion does have multiple tracks of music, however the one you'll hear the most is the main theme of the game, which is easily one of my favourite pieces in gaming history. I don't know, man, something about it is just so catchy, it sticks in your head. I mean, even Luigi himself, the Chad himself, hums the theme. He also whistles it too, and a nice detail is that when Luigi's low on health, the humming of the song starts to sound more and more desperate. There are also other tracks in the game, such as each boss having their own theme, and honestly, each fit the bosses really nicely in my opinion. Like Chansey's sounds like, you know, a creepier version of music you'd associate with an infant, you know, like nursery and all that stuff. Bogmire's theme goes for a more eerie sort of vibe, which obviously, you know, suits the whole mystery behind Quagmire. I wrote Quagmire in my notes. Suits the whole mystery of Bogmire really well. Then there's my favourite boss theme in the game, which belongs to Boo Lossus. You know, it perfectly gives off that sort of bombastic vibe that the boss is all about, to be fair. And lastly, there's the final boss, which honestly has a really grand theme to let you know that this is, like, you know, the final battle. You know, it's complementing the Hellfire background that surrounds the area very nicely. There's also Tataka's song as an Easter egg if you, you know, stay on the control screen for long enough. Overall, the music in this game is just like, it's so good, you know. It adds to the whole experience, to the atmosphere, you know. It makes the game more immersive, you know. Anyway, speaking of atmospheric, the atmosphere of Luigi's Mansion is easily the best part of the game. The game does a great job in immersing the player with things like visuals, the music, and the mansion itself, you know, as well as the portrait ghosts having different personalities. You know, there's the lighting and even small things, you know, like Luigi kicking up dust as he walks and interacts with things, making the mansion feel more authentic. Like, this is a place that's not only lived in, but, you know, it's how you'd picture an actual haunted mansion. It also helps that the rooms in the mansion aren't like over the top in terms of design, you know, and when they are, you know, it's usually few and far between, which not only helps keeps those rooms like a nice surprise once you get to them or find them, it also helps make the mansion feel more grounded, you know, more believable. Like, these are rooms that look like what an actual haunted mansion would look like in real life. The mansion itself actually reminds me of one of those, you know, like haunted house things you find at a fun fair. Also, a bit off topic, but, you know, why wasn't there a ride, or at the very least an explorable building in Nintendo World Japan? Like, it's such a huge missed opportunity, if you ask me. Maybe at the American one, I don't know, but overall the game's atmosphere really does a good job in absorbing you into the game, making for a rememberable and immersive experience. Right, now that we've gone over the main stuff, I'd like to take some time to go over the little things I like about the game and how it adds to the overall experience. One of those things being the dialogue. The dialogue in this game is actually pretty good by Mario standards, whether it's Professor Egad, the portrait ghost, King Boo, or even the several toads found throughout the mansion. There's also books you can read that help give exposition to a lot of things like the portrait ghost and the mansion as a whole. You know, it gives the mansion more personality, while providing some guidance on what to do next if you're, stuck somehow. Speaking of personality as well, this was the first game really that gave Luigi the personality we know and love him for today. And one of my favorite things to do in this game is to examine stuff with the Game Boy Horror. No matter what objects you zoom into, 9 times out of 10, Luigi will have something to say about it, and it leads to some of the best lines in gaming history, or just lines that really do help give Luigi a personality. Here are some of my favorites. And can we just talk about how cool the blackout section of the game is? Basically, once you defeat Boolossus and try and enter Area 4 for the first time, there's a few lightning strikes that hit the mansion, it causes all the power to go out, which means that ghosts pretty much spawn non-stop as you rush to the breaker room, being ambushed by ghosts while you look for, secret things that only appear during this time, like speedy spirits and golden mice that only spawn during the blackout, or going back to get ones you may miss as they would have respawned now. Also, once the lightning strikes, if you continue to Area 4 and go to the telephone room, not only do you get to witness more great dialogue between you, Toads, and the Professor Egad, but you'll also find out that there's a new portrait ghost that only actually appears during the blackout, Uncle Grimsley, I think his name was. And yeah, it's just cool in my opinion. It's easily one of my favorite parts of the game. I'm also pretty sure you can't actually save during the blackout, so it gives you more reason not to be reckless. Anyway, let's go on to the things I don't really like about the game, the cons, if you want to call it that. Let's start off with the Boolossus in the room, and that's the thing that I think we can all agree on. That's the worst part of the game, and that's the Area 4 boos. The Area 4 boos are without doubt a huge pain in the arse, This is because not only do they have a lot of health, but also because of how dense and compact Area 4 is, the boos will constantly go in and out of rooms, which means a lot of back and forth between rooms. Even worse if the boo ends up getting stuck into a room, you can't even access yet. Now, luckily, there is a little trick you can do. Basically, if you have the ice element and rhythmically switch between shooting the ice at the boo and sucking the boo... no, okay, that sounds wrong. It will essentially freeze the boot in place. It's a hard rhythm to get down, but it's super useful. You can even do it without the ice element, but it's just a little bit more difficult. Another thing that I wish the game did was that it was a bit more open, since every playthrough will have you go through the same rooms in the same order at the same time. It would have been cool if the keys let you open a variety of doors in the area that you're in, That way every playthrough can not only be different, but you can come up with strategies, while you're playing, which order of rooms should you do in order to beat the game the quickest, Something like that it would add a lot of replay value, I find. Another thing that I don't like about the game is that it's unfortunately pretty easy and short, clocking in about, I want to say, around the 6-hour mark. But again, short easy games don't necessarily mean bad games. I mean, Sonic Colors is both short and easy, but it's still a really good game. I just wish Luigi's Mansion lasted longer, that's all, because it's such a good game. Although there are quite a few incentives to go back and replay the game, such as getting gold parts on all portraits, getting gold on all the portraits, improving your in-game rank, and there's also the Hidden Mansion, which is essentially the game's hard mode. Something I'd like to mention, a bit off topic now, is that the Hidden Mansion is actually quite different between the American and PAL versions. I don't know about the Japanese versions, but the American PAL versions are completely different. I think the mansion's a little darker in the PAL version. It's also flipped in the PAL version, it's a whole mirror mode. Think Mario Kart, if you don't understand what I'm saying. And then the bosses are actually pretty different and really damn difficult. So yeah, just a little cool thing I thought I'd share with you. Anyway, let's get into the conclusion of the video. overall, Luigi's Mansion is just such a good game. It's atmospheric, it's creative, and overall, you know, it's a good time. If you have the time yourself to play the game or any of the Luigi Mansion games, I recommend all of them. They're all fantastic games. That's going to be it for today. I want to thank you for watching. Sorry if it, you know, it took so long because I was just like super unmotivated for like a solid 2 weeks or so. You know, I didn't really want to do anything. I was kind of not down in the dumps, but you know, just kind of lazy for the, like 2 solid weeks. But now, you know, I'm back on my feet. You know, I do want to record. I want to be more serious with my YouTube channel. Hopefully, it won't take a month until the you know, the next video. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching and have a good rest of your day. Alright guys, see you later.